Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Today we're going to speak about Parashat Shoftim. Shoftim means judges. Shoftim ושוטרים, תתן לך היום, we should appoint judges and all kind of officials to make judgment. There was this guy that was not convicted yet, but was blamed for robbery that he had done. So he comes in front of a judge, and the judge tells him, "So, do you confess? You know, you did this crime?" He said, "Your Honor, you have to understand, it's so hard for me. You have no idea what I went through. I was laid off," and the judge said, "I asked you one question, just tell me one word. Do you confess, yes or no?" He said, "Yeah, but you have no idea what I go through. It's so hard for me. And yesterday they took away from me the table in my dining room, and the judge is again, I don't care what happened to you yesterday. I just want to know. Do you confess, yes or no?" And he continues and he says, "You don't understand. It's so hard for me lately. I have this problem and I have that problem." And the judge starts to get upset already. Come on, one word, yes or no. So he tells him, "Listen, Your Honor, there are some questions that you cannot really answer all them yes or no. There are some." So he says, "I could, if you don't mind, I could ask you a question, and let's see if you will be able to answer yes or no. Do you mind?" So the judge was curious a little bit, and he didn't mind the challenge. And the guy is asking him, "So is that true what they say lately, that you stop taking a bribe?" This is not the style of judges that we're looking for. This is not the style of judges that they had, that they appointed, definitely. And when rabbis speak about judges and officials that they had to appoint, they say that a man should put on himself, on all the gates of his bodies, judges and officials. What do we mean? So, we have the eyes, and in the eyes Hashem created the eyes lid in front of the eyes, so that we can control, we can guard, we can pay attention to what we see. If there's something not appropriate, we can close our eyes not to watch it, not to see it. There's the ears, okay? And Hashem built the earlobe so that if there's something not appropriate, so we shouldn't hear, we can really close our ear not to hear it. We shouldn't pay attention. It's not, sometimes you say something, there's something that's called selective hearing. You can decide what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. There's, in our mouth, there's two walls. We have the teeth and we have the lips. We can shut up our mouth. We can decide not to say lashon hara, not to say all kind of bad words and stuff like that, not to answer back at the time of a fight. And we have two nostrils that we can close up and open. This is for smelling. Sometimes the smell can make a person go insane, whether it's non-kosher food that he smells, whether it's a man smells, let's say, perfume of a woman and stuff like that. So these are the days. Tonight is Rosh Chodesh Elul, right? We're starting a whole month of Elul, and we really have to pay attention. They gave this mashal. There was this man that they brought him a meal. The meal wasn't so special meal. It wasn't a big deal. The problem about the dessert that they brought him after the meal was something very special, something very, very good. So this guy, because of the dessert, keeps praising the host, okay, because he really liked the dessert. But if it's going to be the opposite, the meal was great, but the dessert was spoiled. Something wrong there. Something he made him headaches. He made him feel nauseous. He made him feel not good. So when he eats and afterwards, what he says, he starts saying bad things about it. He doesn't like that idea, and he's upset of this. We are coming towards the end of the year now. We start Chodesh Elul. So even if the whole year was not so perfect, they say, but if towards the end, like the dessert that we mentioned before, if towards the end you're trying your best, you're trying to repent, you're trying to make more mitzvot, right? So Hashem looks at this, and then it's like praising you for the whole year. But even if during the year it was okay, but towards the end you make wrong judgments, you do sins, God forbid, you do problems, this is how Hashem looks towards the end, and then God forbid He may judge accordingly. As we speak on Parashat Shoftim, we are coming close to the end of Sefer Dvarim, and they're about to enter Israel. They have to make a lot of wars, they have to fight the nations that are there. And Moshe keeps telling the people, you're going to make a lot of wars now, don't be afraid, there's a lot of things to take care, you know, and he gives them guidance how to do these things. Look at these beautiful things that he's talking to them. Now you're going to go, you know, to a war against your enemies. You're going to see so much, the enemies have so much weapons, and today would be tanks and airplanes and whatever. Don't be afraid, because Hashem is with you. Okay, so number one, he tries to calm the people and tell them that victory does not depend on the amount of the horses and the chariots and all the weapons that you're going to see, okay? That they have, that the enemy has. Nothing to do with this, because Hashem is with you. He says, don't be afraid, don't faint your heart. You're going to hear the noise of the horses, you're going to see such an amount, you're going to be terrified. Don't be afraid. Today you're going to see, Israel is in war today, okay? And so they may see that they throw so much rockets, that they abduct soldiers or civilians, that they do this, and that it can frighten people. Don't be afraid. They used to have shields, and when they put all these shields together in a noise, it makes such a big noise, and you know, it's again amount of people, and it frightens. Don't be afraid. You know, you hear shootings, you hear. Don't be afraid. And then don't get panicked. They say from the horns and from the trumpets that they're going to blow and all these things. And don't be afraid. This is all what Rashi explains. He then approaches them in a second approach. He says, "Mi haish asher bana bayit chadash velo chanacho yelech v'yashur lebeito." People who come to the battle, but then during this year they were building a new house, but did not have a chance to inaugurate it yet, to get inside, he can go home. If not, he may, God forbid, die in the war, and somebody else will come in instead of him. He planted a vineyard and didn't have a chance to eat from the fruit. He didn't redeem it yet. You have to wait a few years, and then you have to redeem it. You have to go to Yerushalayim. And he didn't have a chance to do it yet, to redeem it yet. So he can go home also, because God forbid he can die in the war, and somebody else will enjoy his fruit.
It could be a couple of years, it's still okay? It's a couple of years, it's still okay?
He plants it, and then for about 4 years he's not allowed to eat the first fruits yet. from a tree or from...
So all these 4 years he was...
he doesn't eat them yet. He didn't have a chance to eat them yet. ומי האיש אשר ארס אישה, got engaged, and didn't get married yet with her, ילך וישוב לביתו, otherwise somebody else, God forbid, will take her. And then, okay, we understand, they're in the process of something, so they start, but then, מי האיש הירא ורך הלבב, who is the fearful and faint-hearted, ילך וישוב לביתו ולא יימס את לבב אחיו כי לבבו. He shouldn't melt. He shouldn't make other people, his other friends, other soldiers to be afraid like him. And this is something that we have to understand. So the first 3 people that they have to go back, it resembles 3 things that it depends on the perfection of the person, of the human, of the person. First is the faith. Okay, faith resembles the house that we mentioned, that he didn't finish to build his house. The same way that there's no value to any of his belongings if he doesn't have a place to put them on, if he doesn't have a house yet, yeah. So would be the person that, let's say, will make mitzvot, but he doesn't have emunah. If he doesn't have emunah, it's a whole big problem. He has to work and build his emunah first. Then we speak about the mitzvot. The mitzvot resemble the keren. The vineyard makes fruit, okay? And so the mitzvot also make fruit. Number 3, Torah resembles this engaged woman. It says, Torah tziva lanu Moshe, morasha keilat Yaakov. So the Gemara in Masechet Pesachim say, don't say morasha, like the Torah is inherited, say me'orasa. Me'orasa means that the same way that in the time of the engagement, bride and groom, they're so careful with how they approach one another. Everything is so exciting, everything is so nice between them. So the attitude to the Torah and to the mitzvot should be still exciting and interesting and special affection to the Torah. So, מי האיש אשר בנה בית ולא חנכו? If somebody doesn't have faith, his faith is not stable yet, okay, should go home, should work on it, on his emunah, and because fighting the yetzer, the evil inclination, is something you have to know what you're doing, so that it won't, you're not going to fall out from this. And whoever planted a vineyard, she should make mitzvot. But if he didn't do his mitzvot l'shem shamayim, okay, so his mitzvot are not perfect. It's not good yet. He has to work on it because he didn't do them right. And whoever got engaged with the woman, okay, he does deal with the Torah, but doesn't do it lishma. Doesn't do it again in the right way. So he has to go and learn first how to take care of these important things.
What do you mean?
Last week you also asked me a question, and I did have a chance to answer it because we were towards the end of the week, at the end of the shiur. You asked me how is it possible that the Torah can mislead people? You remember you asked me this question? I remember then, but I didn't answer you. Sometimes people they think that they do l'shem shamayim. You know, he wants to do certain thing, and for l'shem shamayim we learn. We gave so many examples. People can insult, people can kill, people can do all kind of sins l'shem shamayim. If he doesn't learn how to do the halachot, he can make a mistake. The other week, the rabbi mentioned this mitzvah. If somebody sees a midget, okay? So there's a bracha to say Baruch Mashaneh Habriyot, okay? But if he sees a midget, he picks him up in front of everyone and says Baruch Mashaneh Habriyot. He makes a mitzvah, but in a way he's insulting so much this person. This is not the right way to make the mitzvah. So there's a way of learning, okay, the Torah, the mitzvah, how to do it the right way, and then he'll know how to do it. You understand what I say? So Rabbi Akiva, the rabbis here in the Gemara, they say that who is this, the one that's fearful? They mention here in Masechet Sotah three different things. Rabbi Akiva Omer that he is really afraid. He sees a sword, he sees a weapon, he sees a gun, he hears the gun, he is afraid, he cannot stay, he cannot be in the battle. Like you hear. Rabbi Yosef Glili says, who is the one that is afraid from the sins that he has done. And he speaks about, in a way, simple sins. Speaks about sins, averot midrabanan, that the rabbis gave, not even in the Torah. Rabbi Yosef, another Rabbi Yosef says, the one that's afraid from averot that he did from the Torah. These are the ones that can go back home and work on it and stuff like that, because they're afraid that because they made all kinds of sins, they could lose the battle, they can die in there, and stuff like that. What is this tefillin? And the example that they give is when somebody speaks between, he puts that tefillin shel rosh and the tefillin shel yad in between. When he speaks, this could be a sin that they will be so afraid to die because they may die because of this in the battle. What's the big deal to speak between tefillin shel rosh and tefillin shel yad? So they say tefillin shel yad, most of it, the idea is to remind the person his obligation to God. This is where they put it on the left hand against the heart. Okay? So, and it says, Vayu lecha leot, to you, the sign will be to you, not to others. This is the way, this is the reason that the tefillin of a yad is covered. You don't leave it exposed. But so whatever is between Hashem, a person and Hashem, he needs to deal it in a way of people don't have to know how things are between you and Hashem. But tefillin shel rosh, this usually symbolizes, represents the strength of Am Yisrael, the courage of Am Yisrael, the nationality of Am Yisrael. And like Rabbi Elazar Gadol used to say, וראו כל עמי הארץ כי שם השם נקרא עליך ויראו ממך. They would see this tefillin on you, everybody will be afraid from you. Okay? They would see it on you. This is tefillin shel rosh, says in Masechet Brachot. There's the famous story, and you probably heard about that. In Masechet Shabbat it says that one time the Empire of Rome had a decree over Israel that they are not allowed to put tefillin. Okay? They were not allowed to put tefillin. So people were doing it hidingly in their homes, not in public, not in front of people. There was this rabbi by the name Elisha that he put the tefillin on and went outside. Now they said, if we're going to see somebody that is going to wear a tefillin, we're going to ינקרו את מוחו, pack his brain, ככה, kill him basically, take care of his head, his brain. That's what bothers them. So Elisha put this tefillin on and went outside.
On purpose?
Huh?
On purpose?
On purpose. Ra'al Kasado. Kasado would be an official, a Roman official, saw him and started to run after him. And he ran away from him and he keeps chasing him. At a certain point he took it out, the tefillin, and he was holding it in his hand. And this official was much faster than him, apparently. And he was able to catch him. So he tells him, what do you have in your hand? What do you have in your hand? He says, Kanfei Yonah. He says, I have a wing of a dove. And he opened his hands, and he really saw a dove over there. So they say, why he saw wings, the dove? Because it says the Israel, in a way, they are like a dove. It says, כנפי יונה נחפה בכסף ועברותיה בירקה חרוץ. זה תהילים פרק ס"ח. That the usually all the other flies, all the other birds, whatever protects them is usually their mouth. But the wing, but the dove gets protected from its wings, and this is like Israel, that the mitzvot that they do protect them so that no damage will happen to them. It says that since then they used to call him Elisha Bal Knafayim, Elisha, the one that had the wings, and that's see, when you do a mitzvah, this just protects you. Yesterday, my uncle in Israel, Rav Yaakov ben Yael, passed away. Also, your grandfather, wasn't it?
David ben Tovo.
David ben Tova. So, shiur v'ilui nishmatam. Great people. So, once I told you the story about my uncle. He used to be a dentist back in Russia, in Samarkand. And he worked in a very big firm, a lot of doctors, a lot of people used to work there. And he was among them, he was working among them, one of them. At a certain point, the Rabbi Milubavitch, the former Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Milubavitch, he used to send a lot of messengers all over Russia, because the communists did not let any practice of religion, and he would send his messengers, to teach Torah and to open shuls and to make tefillot and do whatever needed. So they came to him and they asked him, they told him, we know that you know how to teach little kids, very nice, we want you to teach little kids. He says, but I have a job, I can't. He came to his father and he asked him, what should I do? His father takes him, a lot of dentists, you can always come back to it, now there's a need to do some Judaism, do it. So okay, he told his manager that he has to quit his job and he cannot continue working there anymore. He just asked for him if he can come next week and he can give him a recommendation letter and he would continue on. He said, fine. So the manager told him, so find me somebody else, and I'll release you, I have no problem. So he found him some other Jew that came to work with him. And so the whole week everything was fine. And the next week, he comes back to get this recommendation letter. He sees that the manager is very upset. The manager found out that that other Jew that my uncle sent him, he was eating with everyone from their food. He was coming on Shabbat like all the other workers were doing. How come, he tells him, you cheated me all this time that you worked with me. You said that you cannot come on Shabbat because Jews are not allowed to work on Shabbat. And you say you cannot eat kosher because you cannot eat their food because it's not kosher. Here's this Jew, he does eat, with everybody and he has no problem. How come you cheated on me? Now I want to sue you, now I want to show you, now I want to say, you really want to take revenge of him. So he really got frightened, he didn't know what to do. He goes back to his father and he tells him, Abba, what should I do? It's dangerous. He wants to arrest me, or I don't know. So his father told him, whatever you do for mitzvot, don't be afraid. It's for the best. Don't be afraid. Hashem will be with you. Fine. He comes back to him a day later. He had to take that recommendation letter. I'm sorry, he didn't go back to him yet. He goes the next day to the market to buy something and he hears people are talking, oh, you heard about this and you heard about that. Apparently, this manager was so stressed, was so upset. The whole day he had, his heart was beating very hard, his blood pressure went up, his this and that. During the night he just passed out and he died, that manager. So he comes back to his father and tells him, see what happened? His father told him, whatever you do, mitzvot, don't be afraid. The mitzvot protect you. God forbid. Shomer mitzvah lo yada rab, nachon. So, being afraid, fearing. See, the Hamas now, they try very much to work psychologically on people. They try to threaten them. They try to post all kind of YouTube movies that we will abduct your people, we will kill your civilians, we will shoot, we have these weapons, we have that,
Scary.
and it's very, very scary. And it was in wars they always used to use this psychological weapon, how to frighten the enemies. They always used to use to do that. And it's true, and it's very true, because fear can paralyze sometimes people and soldiers, and this is the reason that they used to have a special Kohen Mashuach, a special Kohen only designated for this mission, to go with them to the battle and encourage them. Oh, you're strong. Don't be afraid. Don't fall to that trap that they're trying to frighten you and stuff. Used to give them a lot of courage. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And because fear contagious. It's contagious. And the Ramchal explains that fear is something that is imaginary. You imagine to some things, and this is how you become frightened. And the one that fears, he takes solitary cases, something that happened here, something that he heard there. He puts them all together and becomes a whole big giant, that frightens him. And he, as I said, he's paralyzed. He doesn't know what to do. I had to go once because of a while ago I had a problem with my back, so I had to go to make an MRI. MRI is magnetic something imaging, something. Okay. So they put you into this kind of machine. All your body goes inside, especially the head, and it's like tight almost on your head. People who have claustrophobia, they're afraid from closed places. They get terrified. They just can't do it. So she told me, the nurse, the first, if you're afraid or if something bothers you, just press this button and I'll come quickly. So the first second that I was there, I didn't like it. So I called her and she's like, oh, little kids do it too. Don't be afraid. It's okay. So I'm saying to her, okay, I have to go through this. I have to do it. What should I do? So I'm closing my eyes, and instead of, it's called imaging center, I called myself, I will imagine things. I will imagine of all the good things that I have and all the good things that I think about my kids, my grandkids, my shiur, I don't know, like that. Something that will
make you happy.
Yeah, I won't think so much about something that closes me up and stuff. And this is how people can fight against things that they're frightened from. There was this, when somebody is afraid, there's few ways of challenging the fear. It depends how you challenge, how you do it. There are some people that are afraid from everything. Everything frightens them. And something, God forbid, will happen to the kid. Something will happen to this one. An accident will happen. This will happen. And they keep being afraid all the time. There was this lady that, let's say, Mrs. Cohen. She was this type of person. Her husband used to come late from work, and every time he used to come late from work, she would imagine to herself the worst scenarios, the worst thing that can happen to him, and it would bother her very much. She was very, very upset from this. She didn't know what to do with this. So once a rabbi came to their house for a visit, and she discussed it with him. She shared with him what she goes through and how hard it is to her. And he's like, wait a second, let me understand something. Your daughter, she lives way in the south. She's not even close to you. How do you manage this? She says, yes, indeed, it's very, very hard. And then your sons, they are in yeshiva, and they're not in the same city even. Everybody is scattered, they're all over, and they're not next to you. How do you manage this? She says, it's really hard for me. So what do? Every day, she says, I keep calling them. I keep reassuring that they're okay. We're talking, they tell me that everything's okay, then I come down a little bit. So the rabbi says, so what you want, basically, he tells her, is that your kids and your husband and your children and everybody that you know will sit constantly next to you 24/7, and you will protect them, make sure that nothing happens to them. And this is how you want to deal with things. You cannot really do that. It's like he says, there's this hen outside, right, in the yard, and the hen calls all her chicks to come, to be under her wings, and they all come. And when it happens, the hen feels so calm, she feels so good, because she feels that she protects them. Okay? The truth is that all kinds of things can happen even when this hen protects the children. The rabbi said that if somebody thinks that he can protect their children more than Hashem, in a way it's disbelief, he says. That's not true, that's not the right way. We have to hope, we have to pray that Hashem will protect, that Hashem will take care of everybody, and also pray that the sins that we have done will not damage, God forbid. And this is what we can do. We cannot really do more than that. In our sources, there's so many examples. I'll start with one. Maybe I don't think you're so aware of this story, because it's in Melachim Bet. Speaks about Elisha Navi. Elisha Navi was the prophet after Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu, they say, made 7 miracles. Elisha made double, 14 miracles. Okay, so it was a time that the king of Aram, made a war against Israel, and he wanted very much to trap, to plan some kind of an ambush to the king of Israel. But everything he plans doesn't work out. Oh, it's like he feels that there's a spy that keeps telling to the enemies, to Israel, what's his plans, and he doesn't know what to do. So he asks his advisors. They say, oh, you don't know? There's a prophet in Israel. His name is Elisha. He knows everything. He knows whatever you talk in your bedroom. Nobody hears that. Nobody sees it. But he knows, because he's a prophet. Very great man. He says, so what should I do? He ordered to bring Elisha in front of him. At that point, it says that they brought so much weapons and chariots and horses and stuff, against Israel. It says that Elisha's student, his servant, his student, he saw all this big army in front of him. He got so terrified, he didn't know what to do. He comes to Elisha and he's like, what should we do? Look, we'll never be able to win those people. What should we do? And it says that Elisha prayed, Elisha prayed, and he asked Hashem to reveal the cover from this boy's eyes, so that he'll be able to see what protects Elisha. And it says that he saw a lot of horses, chariots from fire around Elisha, to protect him, so that nothing will happen to him. He didn't see it before. He saw it only after Elisha prayed to Hashem, so that the guy would see this thing. And then Elisha also prayed that the enemies, they will be dazzled. They won't see. They won't be able to see. Hashem will kind of blind them. They won't be able to see anything, so they cannot attack them. So Rav Chaim Shmulevitz is asking 2 big miracles. Who needs the first miracle? If they get dazzled, if they cannot see, if they get blind, they cannot attack us. They cannot do anything to us. Who needs this first miracle for this boy to see what protects Elisha Navi? And the Radak explains very nice. He says, when somebody is frightened, okay, this boy was frightened. When somebody is frightened, as I said before, frightened, the fear contagious. He is so not calm. He is so afraid that he can make everybody around him be afraid also. The soldiers, the other part of the Israeli army, even the Navi Elisha Atzmo, when it can bother him too. So first, let's calm down this boy, and when he is calmed down, when he sees that everything is okay, everything is in control, he's calm, then we're going to take care of the army of Aram. See what happens to people who are afraid. King David says in Tehillim, "Gam ki elecha b'geit tzal mavet lo yirah." Even I will be in the valley, in the valley of death. Okay, the worst moment, I will not afraid because I know ki atay imadi. You are with me. This is more famous about King David. So, Plishtim, okay, are this nation that's making war against Israel. Already 4 times it says that they made war at the time of Shaul HaMelech. And at that point, at that war, there came so much people. And besides, they had this giant, Goliath, that comes and he praises himself and, God forbid, curses Am Yisrael and says all kind of words. Who can fight against me? Who can? He was a giant. He was a big. They say 3.5 meters was his height only. His armor was so heavy, like 50 kilograms of metal on him. Who can fight against him? He's a giant. He's strong. And he keeps telling to the Jews, okay, you know something? Let's not fight. Just find somebody that I could fight him, and that's it. Whoever wins, wins the war. So Jews, of course, were so afraid, didn't know what to do, were terrified. Even Shaul HaMelech got so frightened. They say because he got so frightened, spirits of Hashem